Okay, we're live. Welcome back, Aaron James, to the channel.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be back. Good to be seen.
Glad to have you, man. Now we're live on Instagram too. So, all right, it's Tuesday, 11:30. We're gonna do 20-30 minutes. We do these little power sessions, jam sessions. We could literally create a podcast out of this, man. And
yeah, people have been calling this a podcast. They're like, "Hey, I've been loving your podcast." I was like, "What podcast?" "Oh, you mean me and Dr. Cody?" They're like, "Yeah." So essentially, all the content. People think we're doing a podcast. Cool.
That's great, man. That's great. Guess podcast is whatever you make of it, right?
Yeah.
So,
hi everybody. Oh, Margarita, Katarina, how you doing? Good to see you all. And yeah, remember when there's comments, you have questions, anything you want to kind of throw into the conversation here, please do in the comments. We appreciate it. So Cody, what are we talking about today, man? Reprogramming and limiting beliefs about aging and weight gain. That's a big subject. All right.
Yeah. And that's just, we don't have 20 minutes, right? But yeah, I thought that's just really a great blend because, I over the last 20 years, that's been the thing that I love to do is help people truly reach their peak potential. And one of the things is that there's one thing that affects everything in life, your relationships, your money, everything. It's your health. Yep. And so that's what I love is to make sure I love building fat burning, energetic, healthy bodies. And that has just changed people's lives. So I love the combination of with you as a hypnotherapist and performance coach is like, well, how do we reprogram limiting beliefs about aging and weight gain? And let's start off by maybe listing off some of those limiting beliefs about aging and weight gain. I'd like to, because a lot of people watching, my avatar is 35 to 55-year-old women. Mm-hmm. And around that time, here's what happens. Your body starts changing. And the exercise you did before and the eating you did before does not work. When I say it doesn't work, it means you start gaining weight. No matter how much you exercise, you gain weight. It's frustrating as a woman. And then you realize, oh shit, something's wrong, right? Yeah. And so here's some of the beliefs I hear is fat comes with age. Now,
sure.
Don't always say that, but this is what's implied is as you get older, you get fatter. But that's one of them.
Yeah.
As you get older, fat comes with it. Nope. There's another one. As you get older, disease comes along. Nope. But that is, and guys, maybe if you listen to this, maybe you haven't said that, but like really feel into this. This is literally implied in our society.
Yeah.
Every time you've gone to the doctor, and the doctor asks about, well, how old are you? Because literally, according to the medical model, we treat you differently. You're treated differently if you're 20 versus 60. You might go, well, doesn't that make sense? Well, no, because it's interesting because your body has been designed for you to thrive in health. The body was never designed to move towards disease. That's the programming that has been given to us from, I'm going to say from the medical model. I don't mean all medical doctors, but from the American Medical Association has programmed you that your body is leaning towards health, disease, and somehow you have to sort of fight for health. And it's the other way around. Your body leans towards health, right? And you actually really have to try hard to get sick. So that's the truth. So there's a few of those beliefs that, have you seen those, AJ? Is that those?
Oh man, there's so many of them. People saying, I remember my dad or older men, oh, don't get old. Don't get old. It just gets harder and worse. And all the kind of nuances and all these little sayings are stories. It's all programming. So at the essence of this, I want to talk about the belief field, right? Limiting beliefs, any of these thoughts that are small or big, or I'll also say stories, the programming, systems, all of these things are very powerful because thoughts are things. Thoughts are powerful. And if there's a thought in there that you consciously say, oh yeah, I don't really believe that, but I say it at a deep level, that your unconscious mind could be making that present. So if we're talking about, aging and weight gain, we're told since we're born, we're basically like, there's a span, right? This is about an average age of a human, right? We're given all these constraints and things, and that medical system, like, I got a lot of friends that are doctors and I love them, and they're awesome, and many of them are thinking this way as well now, is that our bodies were actually designed to live a lot longer than we are now. It's in our DNA, it's in our code. Scientists are finding out things about the quantum field, about the merging of spirituality and science, that is incredible as we learn more about ourselves and as we evolve. So that means we get the opportunity, and we get to choose how to reprogram and identify what are those limiting beliefs that are in our life. So one good way here is, like, you and I could list off the myths, and anybody here, if you think of them, just go ahead and put them in the comments. What are the phrases, the sayings, the jokes around, listing out these limiting beliefs? And it really takes some time to sit down and be like, well, what do I believe about aging and weight gain? Okay. And literally just take some time to write these down, so you can start getting a framework, a picture of these list of kind of myths or things that are out there, or these beliefs, and really taking the time to look at each one and be like, okay, say it out loud. Do I really believe that? Is that really true for me? I mean, one at a time, people. Like, checking in with your body. We've talked about on previous, checking in with your body. There's messages from here. If it's a yes or a no, or like it doesn't feel right, then, like, okay, then what do I want to choose to believe instead? If it doesn't make sense, that begins to bring the conscious awareness to a belief that could be unconscious. But as soon as you start giving it conscious attention and tweaking that a little bit to say, you know what, I don't believe that, but what do I want instead? What do I believe instead? And what do I choose to believe instead? You can cross it out and then write down the new the new belief, or the new outcome that you want. So I wanted to just kind of look at, the belief field. First, doing an inventory, an audit of what are the limiting beliefs in your life that you're seeing all the time, in work, in life, and just conversations with people. Another example, Cody, is like when you're sitting around the dinner table and you're having conversations with people. I think that a lot of times people just nod their head yes, even though they're hearing people say shit that is like not in alignment with their values and stuff. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I'm becoming more conscious of that, and I'm not stopping them and like creating controversy or anything like to challenge them, but I do say, hey, I hear what you're saying, and do you mind if I like challenge something that you said? It doesn't really vibe with me. I just want to curious where you come from. And when you kind of call things out, some of the people I've literally stopped them in their tracks, like, yeah, I just said that. That's so weird, because I don't believe that anymore after my so-and-so died, right? So these things are all amongst us, but if we don't bring conscious attention to them, they could keep staying as programs that are running in the background for way too long.
Yeah, that was really well said, man. That's a really nice place to sort of platform to jump off of, because it is important. I think we don't realize these when we talk about reprogramming beliefs. Most of the time, I think we don't even know what the beliefs are. So I love the idea of actually paying attention to. And so some people have asked me in the past, like, how do I find these subconscious beliefs if they're subconscious, right? I have one really good method you should try. It's called looking at your life. Anything expressing in your life is a belief inside your unconscious. And by the way, they're all limiting. There's no beliefs that aren't limiting, because if they're unlimited, it would be of the divine essence, which means you probably wouldn't be here in this body.
Yeah, right.
So once I realized that, it was like, okay, all beliefs are limited. I just get to choose which of the limited ones that I want. That's what's really funny about the whole thing. So you look at your relationships. Someone goes, I want to know what my limiting beliefs are. Look at your relationships. Like, look at your finances. Like, it's literally right there. It's not as hard as you think. It's right there. So you go, oh, I must believe, let's say you're 50 and you're starting to get a little tired and run down. You literally must be believing that you get tired and start slowing down at 50. You're building less muscle at 50. Well, there must be a belief around there, right? Now, usually someone's actions follow the beliefs. Okay. And so, yeah, you could say, well, if you're building less muscle, it's because I'm going to the gym less. Yeah. but also you want to look at that first belief that actually initiated you to go to the gym less. So I love the idea of taking stock, of looking at your beliefs. I think that's a big one. Like you just said, invite everyone watching to like, what must I believe, right? And I want to throw something in here from there was a book written from Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief. And it was a fantastic book. This is probably over 10 years ago, but he was a leading cellular biologist. And he came up with as he was researching cells, I think it was at Harvard or Yale, but they literally, his research he came up with, they kicked him out. They were like, you can't be teaching this stuff. And because here's what he found. He said that he found that genes do not control your life. That's literally found from being a cell researcher. He found that environments and thoughts and beliefs do. And so he talked about genes being like a blueprint. Blueprints don't turn on by themselves. You have to, create certain signals and emotions, diet, stress, like all those things will literally activate those genes. So the fact that, if you look at it from this angle, I want to just speak a little bit on suggestion, because suggestion is all of life has suggestion. When you go to the doctor and they ask you about your age, that's a suggestion. Without you even understanding, they're asking you a suggestion. Then they ask you about your grandma. What's your mom's history? What's your dad's history? That's a suggestion. What does it suggest? That your dad's history has anything to do with your future.
Yeah. It's presupposing that you are linked to that, right?
Exactly. Right. So, and it's funny, in the 20 years, I should give some background, the 20 years of working with patients, I have literally seen breast cancer heal completely, digestive cancer heal completely under my care, sickle cell anemia heal completely, AIDS gone, migraine headaches, debilitating migraine headaches, MS, the list goes on. I didn't once ask these people if their mom or dad had this, because I called bullshit when I read this more than 10 years ago. It's almost 20 years ago now. That's what he said was, it's like you being worried. Your genes are like a key to your car. Wouldn't it be funny to be worried about leaving the key in your car because it was going to drive it away? You actually have to take the key and pick it up and turn it. That's what genes are. So if you have a gene for obesity, you have to take that key and turn it the same way your parents did. You've got to do the same things, think the same ways. And many times you've grown up in that environment, you do the same things and think the same way.
You're talking about lifestyle things, like things that you do in the lifestyle, right? Like how you're cooking, how you're eating, the inputs that they are doing. You'd have to mimic that. And at the times, right? The technology, the products available, the products that were around. So that's what you're talking about, is the lifestyle part integration.
The lifestyle part and the thoughts. And it's funny because if you grew up with your parents, you literally have adopted the lifestyle from your parents, and you've adopted the same thoughts from your parents. And then
they did from their parents, and they did from their parents, and all handed down.
Genes, right? This is genes. Yeah. So what I'm describing is called epigenetics. Yeah. And what that means is above genetics. And what it shows is that your genes are literally flexible. I don't think most people know this. This is 20 years of us knowing this. They are flexible according to how you live and how you think. So very, very important and powerful. We're not, what Aaron James just talked about, there's science behind this. And I'm going to give you the science of this and telling you, after working with thousands of patients, like I watched the belief system completely destroy or completely build someone's body. And so watch what life is suggesting to you. Even the suggestion, listen, I'm going to throw some very controversial things. What about going and getting your body checked out? Okay, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, but what are we checking out?
Like what? You mean like blood? Or are you talking about like blood work, panels?
Let's go do an exam. Yeah, let's go do an exam. And here's why I bring this up is, let's go do an exam. Watch this. I was 19 in the military. I was training for a sergeant training camp. I was dropped in the middle of the woods. Well, this is what you're dropped in the middle of the woods at midnight, okay? And they make you have no lights and you have no map and you find your way back, okay? The 2 days before, we gave blood. We gave blood because they love giving blood to the taking blood from the military guys. Mm-hmm. So they checked my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was extremely high. And they said, oh my God, you need to go to the doctor. And so I said, oh shit. And it got me really worried. Like, you might have to get on blood pressure pills. So I didn't get to go to that training camp. I left, drove 4 hours to the doctor. I got to the doctor, he took my blood pressure, and it was completely normal. And I said, well, what the hell? They told me, they had me scared shitless.
Yeah.
And the doctor explained to me, he's like, well, this could be because of stress. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, were you going through any stress? And I explained to him, I'm about to be dropped in the middle of the woods with no flashlight. And I hope it makes it bad, right? And yet literally, like, they drop you in different areas. So you might run into people like, let's literally pitch black. So anyway, he's like, listen, you're stressed. And I said, well, what does that have to do with my blood pressure? He said, when you're stressed, physiologically, your blood pressure raises. Why? Because you might need to fight or run. And I thought, whoa, but the programming says high blood pressure means go to the doctor. Now, had I gone to a doctor who didn't explain that to me, which most people don't, they would have put me on blood pressure meds, because that's what the military was mandating. I get on blood pressure meds to lower my blood pressure.
Right.
So look at the suggestion and the lack of education of us understanding what really is our body trying to tell us. So just a little bit of a story.
One of those suggestions is, you can't heal this. You need something external from you, right? Most of it is, right, cause or the problem, and then the symptom, and then here's the fix, here's the pill, here's the thing. As opposed to, hey, Cody, let's just take some deep breaths. Let's imagine, let's take some deep breaths, right? This, what the doctor could have said is like, hey, you know what? It's good to be high stress. Let's take some breath. Let's breathe to activate your body. And let's visualize you doing a great job on that mission. Let's see yourself having the end result, right? So we're taught, here's the quick fix. You got to go do this thing, and it's approved. And this is what everybody does. As opposed to, you have everything inside of you to do a great job here. You're going to get dropped off, and you're going to find somebody, you're going to do your thing, right? This is that unwiring, the reprogram we're talking about. So a great story. I'm glad you brought that up.
I love that. So one of the great ways, this is one of these, you probably have so many methods, but one of the great ways to reprogram is to find new data. I love reprogramming people, not by convincing them, but giving them new data. Like, for example, you have 60 to 100,000 miles of arteries and veins. And that's long enough to circle the earth twice. Now, the reason I say that is like, oh my God, you just stop and feel that. Stop and feel that. That means you have an intelligence inside you coordinating all that. And I'm going to go talk to some dude or some guy to find out if I have any problems. I'd like to figure out how to get in touch with that intelligence inside. That's where I'm going with that.
Right. That's a beautiful way. And another way is, I'll teach the highlights of this. I call it the recoding journal. The recoding journal. So all you do is you do your best when written down these beliefs, or you hear yourself think a thought, say it out loud, and it's something that it jars you. You're like, wait, because you may not catch it on the first time, but maybe the second or third time you catch it. You find that phrase or that thing you said that's negative, or a limiting belief. And I want you to write it down. You just write down that thing. The second step is to write down the negative emotion that came with that thought. If there was one, writing down that negative emotion. Then third, what do you want instead? This is that. Now let's rewrite the coding. Let's in person, live, let's recode that into the recoding statement. So what is the opposite of that? What's the antithesis of that thing you said that was negative? Write it out. And number four, what are the positive emotion? What's the positive emotion or emotions you want to link to that?
Okay.
And you put the pencil down. Oh, you actually cross out the first one. Cross that one out. I forgot that step. Cross out the negative one. Rewrite the new one. Write down the emotion or emotions you want to positively affect to it. Put the pencil down. Close your eyes. Go in. Breathe. And see and feel the future version of you doing that thing. Doing that statement, living that statement, and the emotions that you want to. Maybe it's joy and excitement, feeling those things, seeing yourself doing it. This could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, as long as it's 60 seconds minimum of you seeing that and feeling that emotion. It can recode that in real time. You keep doing that. If it's every single, or even just a few limiting beliefs a day, you're going to start reprogramming, recoding those things.
I was going to ask AJ what you just said. I would love to, we're getting off in 3 minutes here. I would love if you would open this tomorrow what if we did what you just said? We start off and literally pick an idea. Let's actually go through that actual exercise, what you just said.
Okay. Yep. I've got a whole kind of step process. We can like literally go through it.
Yeah, and we blocked off 20 minutes from there. I'd love to do that because what you just said was like, I was like, whoa, we need to stop and do that, man. That was awesome.
Okay. So we'll do like reprogramming limiting beliefs part 2 tomorrow. Yeah, we're doing the same time. Is that what time we're at?
Same time tomorrow. And yeah, I think that'll be very helpful. If I was listening to this, I'd be like, hey, wait, let's rewind that and see what you just did. So thanks for watching, everybody. I also want to just remind you that, have you thanked your stomach lining today? Your stomach lining.
I haven't. I forgot to do that this morning.
Well, if you went back 2 to 4 days ago, you had a different stomach lining. Your stomach lining literally regenerates every 2 to 4 days to prevent itself from digesting itself. I mean, come on. Is that not the coolest thing? And also 28 days from now, I'd like to encourage everyone to thank their skin. Every 28 days, you have brand new skin. I just think it's worth us maybe putting
skin. Thank you, skin. Yeah. Let's have that gratitude. Ending on a great note. What a beautiful way to end on gratitude and thankfulness. Cody, Dr. Cody, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.